Namaste. We are studying for the master's course in dance, Bharatanatyam, and you all have learned, experienced, heard this word called choreography so often. So let's try to learn it and how it started and what it is and so on and so forth, because the performing arts of India has had such an unbroken tradition of continuity that has no parallel anywhere else in the world. It has been a living tradition for in the history and of the world arts, a tradition that never became obsolete or went into oblivion because of its capability to adapt, change and evolve. It prides itself in its origin from the Vedas, albeit it has assimilated various elements in its journey through the centuries, enriching, expanding and enhancing itself, thereby making it relevant for every period of history as well as its own history of evolution. This was possible because of the innate talent of the Indian masters of performing arts to create new concepts and patterns of presentation to please the mental makeup of various types of societies in the different periods of history. This great art of weaving several patterns for representing various ideas can be identified as the art of choreography in the Indian perspective. Etymology of choreography, let's see into that. The word choreography belongs to terminology used in the Western dance, particularly in classical ballet, gymnastic, figure skating, modern dance. The etymological meaning of choreography is derived from Greek kroia, the dancing in unison, from chorus meaning group, choral circular dance. Graphy literally means writing. It was taken to represent art of notating the dance movements planned for a sequence to be performed by a group of artists accompanied by music. This music was also notated and rendered by an equally big, if not bigger, group of musicians. Now let us look at the brief history of Western concept of choreography. As you know, the notation of dance or music was generally created by the choreographer with thoughtful analysis, which was meticulously written out and generally performed by the artist other than the choreographer. During the Renaissance, dance masters in Italy such as Domenico di Picenza taught social dances at court and probably began to invent new ones or arrange variants of known dances, thus combining a creative function with their educational ones. Stage ballets employed the same steps and movements as social dances and differed from it principally in floor arrangements and visual projection. In the 16th century, dance masters at the French court so organized the floor patterns and theatrical and artistic context of their social dances as to initiate a choreographic form, the ballet de corps. In the first 2 centuries that followed, the gap between the social dance and theatrical dance widened until ballet in the 19th century achieved a basically independent vocabulary. The ballet masters of this era, the choreographer, was an arranger of dance as a theatrical art. The giant of late 18th century choreographic art was Jean-Georges Noverre, whose work and writings made the dramatic ballet or ballet d'action celebrated. In this, ballet incorporated mime as well as academic dances, giving expression to the dance by narrative and histrionic context. After Noverre and his contemporary Gasparo Anglioni, others developed this trend in various ways, especially Jean Duberval in the realistic depiction of contemporary country folk. Charles Didelot in moving towards romantic stage illusion and fantasy, and Salvatore Vigano in the dramatic use of ensemble, choreodrama and naturalness of tragic gestures. The choreographers of the romantic movement employed ballet as codified by such masters as Carlo Blasi, chiefly in the ballet d'action, theatrical forms of Noverre's day, or in opera divertissement balletic interludes. The ballerina, her role heightened by the newly invented point work, that is the position of balance on the extreme tip of the toe, and the female corps de ballet both acquired new prominence. The choreographers who best developed the art of theatrical dance were Auguste Bournonville in Copenhagen, Jules Perrault particularly in London and St. Petersburg, and Marius Petipa, who in St. Petersburg brought the spectacular classical ballet d'action to its peak in such works as The Sleeping Beauty, The Dying Swan, in which extended the complex suits of classical dance brought poetic and metaphorical expression to the plot. Early modern dance in the United States introduced new elements of movement and expression, and in ballets, the works of Michael Fokine emphasized more naturalistic styles and a more potent theatrical image than had Petipa's ballet's classicism. Since then, choreographic forms have varied between the poles of representation and abstraction. Dance notation in the 20th century came to be concerned with basic movement as well as formal dance, and it was assisted by the invention of new systems of abstract symbols, those of Rudolf von Laban and Rudolf Beneš being the most influential. Laban notation was first to indicate duration, fluency or intensity of the movement. Today, these systems and others continue to evolve rapidly, amplified by the video, the film and the computer IT technology. Choreography evolved no less rapidly. Methods of composition vary radically. Some choreographers using their dancers' improvisations as raw material, others devising every movement prior to rehearsal. Merce Cunningham radically changed the context for choreography in his attitude to music and decor as coincidental rather than collaborative or supportive to dance. In his employment of chance methods in dance composition and organization, and in his use of non-theatrical performance space, Merce Cunningham stood special. Cunningham, George Balanchine and Sir Frederick Ashton became the leading exponents of classical or abstract dance, but the later two, like Martha Graham, Leonard Massine, Jeremy Robbins and others, also produced major representational works of choreography. The only absolute rules in choreography today are that it should impose order upon dance beyond the level of pure improvisation, and that it should shape dance in the 3 dimension of space and the 4th dimension of time, as well as according to the potential of the human body. In the 17th and 18th century, it did indeed mean the written record of dances, that is, the dance notation. However, in the 19th and 20th century, the meaning changed a bit and came to be universally accepted to represent the visual aspect of the design patterns of dance, gymnastic, figure skating. Choreography came to be understood as the art of creating and arranging dances, the practice of designing sequences of movements, planning and arranging movements, steps and patterns of dancers. Today, fashion shows, launch of products and such other presentations are referred to as being choreographed, the word itself assuming a wider range of interpretations. These all ideas must be making you wonder and drift to make you understand what choreography is, and then this is all that we are talking in to the Western dance as we understand. But now let us try to understand choreography in the ancient Indian and performing arts as today. The Natya Shastra ascribed to Bharata Muni is the earliest extant literature in the world on the art of dramaturgy. This compendious treatise is the fountainhead for all arts. Bharata has given an exhaustive structure of grammar for the language of artistic communication through theatrical presentation of the world, which is in its holistic version he terms as Natya. Under this canopy is brought drama, dance, music both vocal and instrumental, theatre building, linguistics, handicrafts and above all the whole gamut of human emotions experienced by the performer and the spectator. By following Bharata's instructions on Natya, one is constantly applying the technique of choreography according to its present meaning of visual patterns of movements with music. In the 6th chapter of Natya Shastra, which expounds the theory of rasa, Bharata encapsulates the 11 basic elements governing the art of choreography in Natya thus: Rasa, Bhava, Abhinayah, Dharmi, Vritti, Pravrittihi, Siddhi, Swaras tatha, Dhyoyam, Gana, Rangascha, Sangraha. Among these, Abhinaya can be described as the art of communication. This has been classified under 4 heads. You know them, right? What are the 4? Right. Angika, Abhinaya, Vachika, Satvika and Aharya. Angika is communication through the physical movements of the body, from the subtlest like battling of an eye to the grossest like leaping in the space. Vachika is verbal communication through articulated words, dialogues, verses, songs, syllables and even sounds emanating from the throat. Satvika Abhinaya is the communication of intense emotions through facial expressions and also through certain natural reactions like actually shedding tears. Aharya Abhinaya is communication through the external elements of costume, makeup, jewelry, stage props, decor, lighting and so on and so forth. A judicious combination of all these will create a total theatrical presentation, which is what Bharata describes under Samanya Abhinaya and Chitra Abhinaya. Among this, Angika Abhinaya becomes more important than others as far as choreography of body movements is concerned. Bharata has analyzed the body from head to toe under Angas, Upangas and pratyangas. The major limbs are head, hands, chest, sides, hip and feet. The mukhaja upangas are eyes, eyebrows, nostrils, lips, chin, chill, eyelid and eyeballs. The sharira upangas are neck, shoulders, belly, thighs and shanks. He has prescribed movements of every limb to be practiced as exercises. The basic unit of dance movement is a Nritta Karana. There are 108 Karanas codified in the 4th chapter of Natya Shastra. These are made of sthanas, charis and Nritta. The static postures of body are referred to as sthana. Movement of this again we are trying to remind and revive you with definitions which we have already done in the earlier chapters of Natya Shastra. So, the movements of the leg involving the entire leg are referred to as charis, which may be bhuchari where the both feet are constantly on the ground, or akashachari where one foot is constantly lifted in the air. The nritta hastas are movements of the entire arm which are often used for vakyartha abhinaya. These nritta karnas are embellished with such subtle movements known as rechakas which give graceful fluidity to the movements. Bharata gives also an insight into the concept of choreography when he states that the combination of two karanas make a nritta matrika, combination of three karanas a kalpaka, kalapaka and 4 a shandaka, 5 karanas a sangatika and 6 or more karanas an angahara. These angaharas are used to create pindibandha or the group formations. Now, let us go to the pindibandha. The pindibandhas reveal tremendous scope for choreography. A group formation like a chain is termed shrinkala, a group clustered like a lump bringing out a theme is called pindi, like a mayura pindi for Kartikeya. A net like formation is termed jalaka, and when two different types of group formations used to represent a concept, it is bhedyaka. Though this kind of structure is given, he stresses the importance of creativity and originality in the presentation. It is very clear that tremendous scope was given for manodharma or expression of one's own perspective of the subject. Several charis are used to depict fight sequences where the arrangement of movements is entirely left to the imagination of the choreographer. Mandalas are units of body movements prescribed for the choreography of fight sequences in a theatrical presentation. There are bhumandalas and akasha mandalas. Here again he gives a basic framework which has to be deftly manipulated by the choreographer according to the situation, using the right kind of music and rhythm to create the desired effect. Again, in the creation of a Purvaranga, it is indeed amazing the variety in choreography that Bharata suggests. He has even specified what kind of music and the tala should be used to present a Chitra Purva Ranga. One by one, the nati or the female dancer are to perform and exit. Thereafter, when all 4 come in, they are to perform movements choreographed with pindibandha, that is group formations. Specific lasyangas and angaharas are also suggested for female artists and charis for the sutradhar and other male performers. Suksha karna lakshana or syllables are to be used for the nritta formation. He even advises the interspersing of syllables and verses to enhance the effect of the dance. Can you imagine if someone has to study Natya Shastra and create what is all given in that? How many lives will go? So, apart from Natya Shastra, let us go further. Several texts on performing arts that followed it have codified many more concepts of choreography prevalent during their own time period. Now let's look at the choreography in Bharatanatyam. What does it mean? How does it translate? So, Bharatanatyam, the Deshi or the regional dance, nurtured, perfected and practiced in Tamil Nadu, had the privilege of becoming the most well-known classical dance of India in the world in early 1900s. I think this status continues almost till now. But that is early 21st century. Though it has roots in the Natya Shastra, it has acquired a distinct identity and form quite unique to itself. Just like the Karanas of Natya Shastra, the Adavus form the basic unit of dance movement in Bharatanatyam. You know this. These are brought under 13, 14 or 15 heads of classification, having about 8 to 10 in each group. The judicious linking of the Adavus become basic foundation for choreography in Bharatanatyam. Creativity is the most important innate qualification that a good choreographer has to be endowed with. In Bharatanatyam, the following should be taken into consideration to create a well designed and successfully choreographed presentation. First, whether it is to be a solo or the group presentation. Then, the theme or the topic to be chosen should have enough scope for elaboration through the Sanchari Bhava. Thirdly, the lyrics chosen should be poetical and succinct but powerful enough to establish the desired effect and evoke the intended rasa. Fourth, the music should be composed in keeping with the emotion to be portrayed in such a way that not only enhances the effect but leaves a lingering impact. Fifth, the rhythm should follow the music, movement and emotion. Sixth, a well balanced use of nritya and natya should be employed. There should be a good blend of natya dharmi and loka dharmi elements. Finally, the body movement should be planned to bring out the text, the theme and emotions with grace and precision that it leaves the spectators in total rasanubhava or aesthetic experience of immense pleasure. So, now what is the practical application of choreography in dance? Once the topic is decided, music and rhythm set, then we arrive at the actual act of choreography, planning and visualizing the movement. For this, there is an apparatus that is generally applied by most classical dancers. This you must very carefully understand. This is the process of creation. The chosen words are first presented through Padartha Abhinaya. That is, every word is enacted with the relevant hand gesture to bring out the word to word meaning. This helps establish the exact meaning of the lyrics in the minds of the viewers. Thereafter, the use of Sanchari Bhava brings out all possible interpretations of the lyrics and also pictorially represents several stories before our eyes. Sanchari literally means moving together, moving parallel. Sanchari Bhava is portrait of ideas where the gesticulations brings out various meaning of the lyrics by moving around the words and a little away also, so that more dimensions to the meaning of the words are portrayed. Here we apply the principles of Ankura and Suchi. Ankura literally means sprout. When an idea slowly sprouts in the mind, it is referred to as Ankura. This is developed through various hand gestures and made to point towards a particular meaning which is referred to as Suchi, like the Suchi Hasta. Thus, for instance, two Kapitha hands at the shoulder levels can be recognized as Devi Lakshmi based on the Natya Dharmi. This will be applicable for Padartha Abhinaya. Lakshmi can also be portrayed as Vishnu's consort or shown as emerging from sea when it is being churned by the Asuras and the Devas. So, you see these 3, 4, 5, 10 ways of showing Lakshmi. In these two actions, we establish the fact that she is the consort of Vishnu and is born from sea. These actions move in and around Lakshmi, but every action brings out a different aspect of Lakshmi. If we use the Karana, Garudat Pluta, and then move in Vaishakha Rechita with Vishnu and Lakshmi Hastas, then through Vakyartha Abhinaya, we can portray Lakshmi and Vishnu on their Vahana. An entire story can be unfurled in the same way, showing the episodes of the Samudra Manthana, at the end of which can be shown Lakshmi emerging seated on a lotus. The choreography of the Samavakara Rupaka can be brought out through this episode. These can be achieved only if there is thorough knowledge of all Angas and Upangas and their application or Viniyoga. Most of what has been explained here or what we are talking here is used for solo or group choreography, but a thorough and sound knowledge as of all the Angas and their Anga, Upanga, Pratyanga, their Viniyoga and an active aesthetic imagination is absolutely a must to create and choreograph. Now, how do we go into the group or ensemble and which is based only on rhythm, and how do you do that choreography? The most sought after and appealing are guru presentation based only on rhythm. This may be performed for recited or sung syllables, only instrumental music, or even just the percussion instruments. The choreographer's strength lies in the thorough understanding of Laya and Tala and all its ramifications, permutations and combinations. The way the floor patterns are created by the group can enhance the presentation to an extent that the rhythmic patterns become visual. The various jatis can be shown by the number of artists representing the aksharas of the jati while doing the footwork of that particular jati. Even the costume should be so designed as to represent certain rhythmic groups. Even the lighting can follow the rhythm. So, the command of rhythm, command of tala and laya, and of course, the command of adavuds as we do in Bharatanatyam, and how do you mix and match and vary the speeds and tempos in the specific given music is a challenge. And then we go from the solo to the dance dramas. So, what does one do as a choreography in dance dramas? In basically the theme, the storyline to follow and its duration play an important part in the presentation of dance dramas. All the points mentioned for general choreography have to be followed: planning the music, both vocal and instrumental, rhythm, variations for the different moods, body movements, both the Lasya and Tandava aspect with a balanced blend of Lokadharmi and Natyadharmi, brief interludes of dialogue, appropriate costumes, stage decor and sophisticated use of lighting become the greatest responsibility of the choreographer for total success of the production. The ultimate goal should be to establish the right rasa in the spectacle in such a way that it not only entertaining, but also educative and enlightening. In conclusion, we can say The art of choreography is inbuilt in the technique given in our ancient treatise. It has been tried, tasted, added on, enhanced, and has reached its zenith by adopting many variants as it moved along through the centuries. The Indian artist has assimilated all that appeal as beautiful from other cultures too, thereby enriching our own cultural heritage. The word choreography, though borrowed from Western culture, has come to stay, universally identified as the art of creating neatly patterned, well planned visual presentations. One who is at the threshold of a dance career should be conscious of the need to know the art of choreography, its importance in sustaining the spectator's interest and making the performance a great and grand success. So, for you all, as you are now embarking within this year or maybe next in the performing career of dance, choreography will remain a very important thing to know, to understand and to master. Thank you. Namaste.